Get a mic up front here, please. Front. That's fine. Go ahead.
Bill, Sam King from the Journal and Courier in West Lafayette. I wanted to ask you about Flory Badunga and just the ceiling for a kid who's played 3 or 4 years of organized basketball. Clearly has the athletic ability. How has he kind of honed in and become a better basketball player in his time with you?
Well, I think he's gotten better, but I think there's a big 2 or 3 steps he can still take. He's to your point, he's very young in the game. He's got to develop some consistent offensive ways that he can score more points. Right now, he's a rim runner. Obviously a lob threat. Scores off of putbacks and in transition. But he's got to get where he's a better back to the basket scorer and a better face-up scorer. But I actually think that his ceiling is as high as it's the highest of anyone in our program, and I think his ceiling's one of the highest that we've had at Kansas in the last several years.
Go ahead, right front, on the left here, Coach.
Bill, when you first saw this bracket and this pod with you and John and Rick here, kind of what was your reaction? Do you think the committee likes a good storyline, putting you guys all here? And, what about the fact that only one of you 3 Hall of Fame coaches and teams is going to come out of here?
Well, I think, I don't quite look at it quite as deep as what some other people do. I looked at it that we were seated probably where we deserved to be and who you're going to play on the 10 line. And I said a week ago it's going to be Arkansas. I said, you watch, we're going to play Arkansas. I didn't have any idea who the 2 would be. But I think it's fine for us. I would think, and I don't know positively, there'll be a little storyline with Kansas and Arkansas, but the potential of a Calipari-Patino second-round game may put Kansas in a favorable light, to be honest with you, because we've been talked about enough over the years and over time. I'm kind of looking forward to having people talk about others, and maybe we can kind of sneak up on somebody.
Right here in front, Coach.
Gary Bedore, KC Star. Bill, Ryland Griffin, how much can his experience help, and what can he do to bust out of his little shooting slump?
Well, we got to get him looks, but, he can shoot the ball. He just hasn't shot it consistently here of late, but we've got to get him looks. But to your point, last year at Alabama, he got on a pretty good run in the tournament, so hopefully he'll remember that and have confidence from that.
Back right here, Coach.
Hey, Roger Rubin from New York Newsday. Bill, about Zuby Ejiofor, when he decided to transfer, can you tell us a little bit about, what your dialogue with Coach Pitino was about him and what your impressions are of his player development?
Oh, I think that Zuby's done fantastic. They've done a great job with him. I have followed it. I've followed St. John's closer than normal just because of Zuby. I think that Rick over time has done as good or better job than anybody in the country has done at wherever he's been in developing guys. I thought he made a great choice. We did not want Zuby to leave. It was going to be kind of a crowded house, and maybe the immediate opportunities weren't going to be as much, at least the way it looked at that moment. So we supported whatever he wanted to do. He was terrific in the time that he was with us. It was just too short, but it doesn't surprise me because he's an athlete that's very smart and he's a sponge and he's tough, and those seem to be pretty good combinations for playing for Rick.
Back left, Coach.
Bill, Pete Thamel from ESPN. The last 15 years or so, generally, you've had a bus ride or a short flight, home-ish games, high seed, nice. Is this experience just been a little bit different, coming, a pretty long flight away and just being a crooked number seed?
You know what, Pete? It may feel different to Kansas people. I don't know if it feels different to me. I mean, I was at Tulsa. you know, since 2000, what's that been, 25, 26 years since 2000? That was the last time that we were outside a 4 seed. So we were a 7 in 2000 at Tulsa, and we made it to the Elite 8. And ever since then, we've been a 4 or better. So to your point, we have probably played consistently closer to home usually. But if we're not going to be one of those, I think being close to home also can add pressure too, because of the expectations and things like that. And I think there's less distractions when you get away. So I'm looking at this as a very positive thing.
Thanks,
Love Providence.
Sorry, Coach. Right here in the middle. Right here. Sorry. Here you go.
Zach Brazilian, New York Post. Bill, back on Zuby, is that just kind of one of the drawbacks of this age where a guy doesn't play a lot as a freshman? I mean, you probably would have liked to play him more. I know I think he might have had some injuries that year too.
Yeah, we had he and another freshman named Ernest Adu, who's at TCU, and they kind of split time. You know, they didn't, and then we played KJ Adams at the 5. So that was I mean, we were a pretty good team. We were a 1 seed, and then that's when the portal opened and Hunter became available, and we took Hunt. So you know, you can imagine that would be a situation where if the portal, if there wasn't immediate eligibility back then, I'm not sure that Zuby may have, but I'm not sure Zuby would have left. But since with the immediate eligibility and the way the portal works, and Hunter can come in and be eligible immediately, you know, I thought it was a pretty good decision on his part. And I'm not saying Hunter over Zuby. I'm not saying anything like that. But you recruit a guy that was just an All-American to come in against with 2 kids that, you know, struggle playing, you know, 10 or 12 minutes a game. It probably looked like it was too crowded to house.
Thanks, Coach. Over to the right.
Nicole Auerbach,
Hey, Nicole.
hello. You know, when you were talking about how Pitino's developed players over all these years, we just talked to Cal. You guys have all had these long careers. There's been so much made of Hall of Fame coaches getting out of the game and the next evolution of it. What do you think's the key for you guys for still being here, still back in March, trying to make some noise?
You know, I can't speak to everybody else. I think the biggest key, and I think we all go through it, is why did you really get into the profession? And you did it because, you know, you love the sport, you want to impact kids, but you also love to teach. And I think the way it's set up now, it puts teaching kind of possibly more in a frustrating type mode, because you may not get them for 2 or 3 or 4 years, where, you know, now when you plan, you know, your long-term plan is over 12 months as opposed to 24 or 36 months. I think that the key to be is not get it twisted on what you really love to do. But I do think it's challenging with the way it's set up in order to do that. You know, obviously, you know, Rick and Cal, they've been so good at it for so long, and we've been pretty good at it for a while too. But we talk about how everything sucks because it's not the way it used to be. And there was probably some things about our sport that needed to change. And we're kind of in the middle of the change where there's some discomfort. But I really believe the way that our sport looks today, it will look different in 2 or 3 years, and it'll balance out. We all just need to kind of ride it out.
Thanks, Coach. Over to the left.
Yeah, Anthony Christensen, HawkSports.com. Just obviously, when you guys played against Arkansas in the preseason, Boogie Fland was there, and he's been out for a while now, but now he's back. Just what have you seen from Arkansas with and without him, and what does he just kind of bring to their team?
Well, they dominated us in the exhibition. You know, Hunter didn't play, Ryland didn't play, Shaq didn't play, if I'm not mistaken, Adu didn't play for them, and Nelly was not quite healthy yet, even though he played. Athletically, they were much more physical and faster, especially at the guard spots. I think the thing about it is, and granted, I've watched them quite a bit through the year and watched a lot here of late, but it seems like to me the emergence of Brazil and Richmond, to me, as much as anything, has keyed everything. DJ's playing at a high level. The other guys are playing at the level they were expected to play to, in my opinion. But those two have just taken off since we played the exhibition. And then, Boogie was probably the best player in that exhibition game. So getting him back, I'm sure, will be a bonus for them. They present a lot of challenges because they're athletic and they're shooting the ball more consistently now, and they've shown that when they're good, they're as good as anybody.
And you and John Calipari have competed in this tournament twice before, and also obviously in the regular season games as well. Just how much do you reflect on those meetings as you guys kind of look ahead to this game?
Probably not much. At least I won't much. I can reflect back and I'll say, okay, out of bounds under, short clock, 30 seconds left, down 3, John ran this. I can remember those things. And we are all kind of creature of habit, so to speak. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't try to do something similar or whatever. But I don't really see it coach versus coach. I see it team versus team. And so I do know that there are some things that they did in that exhibition game we'd like to slow down and take away. And hopefully it benefited us by getting our butts kicked by them in that exhibition game to help prepare us for this game.
Got time for one more if it's out there. If not, all right, Coach. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Pat, did you have one?
I was going to ask if you're creatures of habit, would you run a dribble handoff for a 3 late in the game against Calipari?
Depends if they're switching the ball screen or not.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
All right.